Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is August and this is Cozy Rosy Reads, where we talk about books and thrifting. And I'm really excited for this video today because April is coming upon us, and April is my birthday month. I don't know about you all, but I've always done this kind of weird thing where I save the books that I've been wanting to read the most for my birthday month. It's a way to make my birthday more special. Like, I can just pick the books that I've been wanting to read, and I can just spend the entire month immersed in books that I have been like the most geeked out about, the most jazzed about. So I'm going to be going over my April TBR and sharing the books that I am the most excited to read. So come along with me. We're gonna pick my TBR from these beautiful shelves here and just kind of talk about the books a little bit, why I'm excited to read them, and hopefully you all can get some recommendations too. But I would love to hear if this is something that you all do as well, or am I just a weirdie? Also, this is my first ever like TBR video, but moving forward from here, I think I do want to do a TBR because I'm noticing more and more that I am being really reluctant to pick up some of the books on here other than the ones that I've saved specifically for this video, specifically for the month of April. So I think I am going to start doing some challenges to really push myself to read the books that have been sitting on here and like collecting dust for years. Without further ado, let's just hop into it. I guess I need to remove a knickknack here. Nice. The first book, this is a book that I am the most geeked out about, the one that I've been the most excited. It's been on my birthday wish list, my Christmas wish list for years, and I'm so excited. I actually found a used copy at my local indie bookstore, and that is Creatures by Crissy Van Meter. And this cover, drooling all over it. Oh my gosh, if I could live in a book cover, this would be it. Basically, this book seems like it's a literary fiction, very poetic, very gorgeous. It's set on a coastal town. This follows a woman who, on the day of her wedding day, her fiance is lost at sea, and at the same time a whale is beached on the shore. Just a dead whale appears. Let's read the flap here. Oh, it also deals with this main character, Evie, whose father grew up on this island. So it takes place on an island, which we love. He survived on the island by making money off of the island's world-famous strain of weed, Winter Wonderland. And it has elements of the sea and creatures, and it just seems like such a gorgeous, almost like magical realism vibes of like a slice of life that's just really gorgeous and beautiful and poetic. So I cannot wait to get my hands on it. This is going to be one that I pick up immediately. As soon as it turns April, I'm gonna be like, yes, this is the one. I'm so excited to tell you all more about it because it's just been on my radar for so long, and I'm so excited. So that is the first book, Creatures. The next book that I want to read, Room to Dream by David frickin' Lynch. Dude, I'm so excited. This is another book that, same as Creatures, has been on my birthday wish list, my Christmas wish list for years. As soon as I found out that he had a memoir, I was like, I need this in my life. I am a huge David Lynch Twin Peaks fan. I have not yet watched all of his movies because, to be honest, they do give me a very significant gag reflex. Like, they severely gross me out, but I still love them so much. I actually do have some Twin Peaks tattoos. I have this one here from Meanwhile, and this is actually the log lady. But that is the log lady holding her log. So I'm a huge fan of Twin Peaks and David Lynch, and this is his memoir, Room to Dream. It is actually a very chonky book. He's a big boy. And then in here we have these gorgeous, large photographs of David Lynch interacting with the actors on set, as well as like his drawings. I mean, I don't feel like I have much more to say. We have this lovely photo on the back as well, but I am just so excited to read this book, and I have to tell you, so it's been on my list forever. I've been wanting it forever. And if you've been a part of this channel, you know that I like to buy my books secondhand. I like to buy books that are maybe, if they're brand new, they're from Dollar Tree, so they're $1 each. I'm very stingy financially when it comes to books, but I just more of love the story of how I find books and how they come into my life, because typically the books that I end up finding are books that are so incredibly underrated and they become some of my favorite of all time. The absolute kismet of me stumbling upon a book and finding it and then realizing like, oh my gosh, this is my new favorite book of all time. That is such a profound feeling because there's a story attached to how I found it. It wasn't just because I saw it advertised and I wanted to buy it. Like it's this scavenger hunt, you know? It's like a treasure hunt. So with this book, I knew about it. I added it to my like Christmas list, but I actually found this book at my local grocery store. So if you're from the Midwest, you would be familiar with Meijer. So I went to Meijer and I was just grocery shopping, and I always look in their bargain book section. So in bargain book sections, they're $5. And so I was just kind of like casually perusing, and then this was on that table. So it had reduced in price significantly and was just sitting there for $5, looking so pristine, and my jaw hit the floor because Meijer is probably the last place I would imagine a David Lynch memoir would be at, just because if you live in the Midwest, you probably know, because it's like the Walmart of Midwest. That does not discredit Meijer or Walmart. Like, they're superstores. Like, you have to go to them. Like, there's no other place to go. So I was just really surprised and shocked, and I did like a little happy dance when I saw it. I was like, shut up. So I am on a whole new level today. I'm just feeling so like hyper. So I apologize if I'm like geeking out too much, but I'm just so excited to read these books. And this one I found very, very recently. So I'm so excited. So that is the second book that I want to read, and it is pretty long, so I do anticipate it will take me a little bit longer. So that is Room to Dream. Next book we have is one that I was gifted for Christmas this year, and I actually received 2 copies because this is another book that had been on my wish list for so long. I bet it's been on there since like 2016, 2017, and that is Sputnik Sweetheart by Haruki Murakami. I'm so excited about this one, and it has the funniest story to me. So way back when I first added this to my wish list, I was at a party, and I was, you know, I'm really awkward in person. I'm not good in big social groups at all. I really struggle. I'm more of a one-on-one conversationalist. And so I went to this party with some friends, and I was just sitting on the couch like overhearing their conversations because I wasn't quite like included, and I don't really have the charisma to interject in a conversation. But my friend was talking to this girl, and she was like, oh yeah, I just recently read Sputnik Sweetheart, and I had no idea who the author was, but I immediately wrote it down in the notes on my phone because I was like, those 2 words combined are like poetry to me. You know, when certain words, they just evoke this feeling and this color in your mind, and so I immediately wrote it down. But when I looked it up, I was like, okay, well, since I can't get my hands on that copy yet, I'm gonna go ahead and read some other stuff that's accessible through Hoopla, which is a free app that I use for audiobooks. And on there I listened to Dance 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 by Haruki Murakami, and I loved it. I loved how trippy and bizarre and it's just weird. It's just a weird book. So I actually don't really know much about the plot. Basically, it follows a man who is in love with a woman who is 17 years older than him, but then there's another woman that comes in. It's kind of like this love triangle, but our main character, or this other person, I'm not sure, mysteriously vanishes. And knowing Murakami's writing style, it's probably going to be like this magical realism portal with some love triangles and just some really quirky characters, which I love. So I'm really excited to get into this one and read my second Murakami book. That is Sputnik Sweetheart. Okay, this next book is really bizarre. I found it recently at Goodwill, and that is Mercury and Retrograde by Paula Froelich. Froelich. This cover is, let me just kind of get a little bit closer here. It's iridescent, like shiny sheen. We've got like a dachshund and this like blue, I don't know. So this was published in 2009, and it just gave me so much like Sex and the City vibes, which I'm currently rewatching. Fun, weird fact about me. Every spring I rewatch all of Sex and the City. It's a comfort show. It's my favorite show of all time. I cry every time, I laugh every time. Some of the best pieces of cinematic like writing and acting are in Sex and the City, in my belief. Like, it is just so good. And it does have its problems, don't get me wrong. It has a lot of problems with it, but I love that show so much. So this gave me so many like Sex and the City vibes. I found it at Goodwill. I couldn't not get it. It was 45 cents. I just have to read to you all these characters' names and what, I didn't even read what the rest of the book was about. Okay, we have Penelope Mercury, an intrepid reporter at the New York Telegraph. Then we have Lena, lipstick car crash Lippencrass, has a pretty fabulous life even by a socialite's standards as a top editor at the high fashion magazine Y. And then we have Dana Gluck, a workaholic lawyer. So it seems like a trio of women living in New York City getting into trouble, but it does seem like it has some cosmic stuff based on the title. So I'm really excited about this one. I just feel like it's going to be fun and wild and weird, and that is just the kind of like Aries vibe I'm going for. I want it, give me Sex in the City mixed with the cosmos. Or shall we say a cosmopolitan? I hate myself. So there's that one, Mercury and Retrograde. You know, when I want a little bit of a lighter read, which might, you know, happen, I think I would like to actually pick up Matilda by Roald Dahl. I have never read Matilda, ever, which is such a crime. As a book lover, as a kid who grew up loving books, I'm so surprised that this never crossed paths with me. I've also never seen the movie. I know, don't hate me, don't come for me, I know, but I would love to read this just because I feel like I'm going to understand so many more like cultural references to this book. It's about a young girl who loves to read and is magical, and why would I not want to read that? So I'm going to add this to the list as well. These next few books are kind of like if I have time or if I'm in the mood, because I do anticipate getting a few books for my birthday. Maybe. We'll see. But if I do, I definitely would like to make time to read those right away because they're probably going to be books that I've been wanting for a while. In any case, if I do have time and I get to them, I would really like to read Call Me By Your Name by André Aciman. I feel like I don't really need to talk about the plot, but it is about a male-male romance over the summer, questioning identities, falling in love, and in this like gorgeous, I think it's Italian? Yeah, in this like cliffside mansion on the Italian Riviera. I think this would be a really delightful spring read, but I've also been kind of holding out for it for summer. So we'll see. If I get to it, I get to it, and that would be great. But that is another book that is kind of on the back burner for this one. And then, of course, I think I'd like to throw in one more book that's a kind of a back burner book in case I absolutely like plow through those books. And I think I would like to read, what do I want to read? I'm kind of feeling like I'd want to read a large print book. I have scored quite a few large print books recently from thrift stores and library book sales, and I'm really curious about them. So I have a few, and I just want to normalize for a second having large print because it has been a complete game changer for me reading large print. There's something about the book size as well. They're significantly larger than normal books. And I like the tallness. I love that they're all floppy paperbacks. I am a sucker for floppy paperbacks. So I have three here. We have Murder Now, Pay Later by Lauren Paine. And this is severe water damage. I found this at Goodwill. Oh, here, let me get up close for some ASMR, okay? I don't know if you all like that, or maybe that was horrible for some of you. I know some people really don't like breaking spines or any book that's kind of in disrepair, but this follows a woman who's an international socialite, and she was murdered by her own hair. So, crime, thriller, mystery. So that would be kind of like a fun back burner one as well if I'm feeling a little burnt out by all the great literature and I just want something fast and quick to read. Murder Now, Pay Later is an option, as well as I have a few other large prints here. We have A Window on the Seine by Francis Y. McHugh. It seems like it has some like political intrigue, some international affairs, as well as like a ghost story. I have no idea what this book is. It only has 2 reviews on Goodreads, and they're both 2 stars. So you bet your butt I want to read it and understand what it is, and then is it worthy of 2 stars? Is it better than that? I don't know, but I feel like this would just be kind of like a fun one as well. But it takes place in 1869, and this young woman is going through some grief with the loss of her brother, and she falls in love with a man who like sweeps her off to Paris for some political career stuff, and then she's stuck in this house overlooking the Seine, and then weird things happen. I don't know, that sounds like great to me. So there's Window on the Seine. And then the last one I have here is another large print, Trains and Lovers by Alexander McCall Smith, and this just follows 4 people who all are on the same train, and it discusses how they've fallen in and out of love, the missed connections that you meet in public transport, and just the gorgeous scenery that they see. I really don't know much more about it, but that just sounds really romantic and light and kind of delightful, whimsical vibes. So that is another option. So all 3 of these are definitely on the table, just as kind of like a quick large print floppy paperback wonder. So there is my April TBR. Not totally refined. I don't really care if I don't get to all of these, but these are books that I've been really looking forward to and been saving for a later date, so to say. I'm really excited about them. I'm really excited to tell you all about them during my April wrap-up, so definitely stay tuned if you're curious about any of these, what my thoughts were on them. I would love to hear what you all are reading this April, or your spring reading plans, any books that you're super geeked out about. Have you read any of these books and you have any like tidbits to share or encouragement? I would love to hear your thoughts. I will be down below answering all of them. I so appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best April, and I'll see you all very soon. Stay cozy, my friends. Bye!